Imagine a world without choices. Imagine you can't make your own decision. That wouldn't be a world for me. That wouldn't be a world for you. You, I see. Tell them we're gonna be stronger. Together, together we can make it right. Our purpose is a better Jamaica for you and I. Gonna be stronger together. Time we all just unify. Our purpose is a better Jamaica for you and I. It is a natural right for every human being to be free. Free, so free. So the government is there to protect you and me. UIC objective is to liberate the citizens from colonial bondage, them regulation, them taxation. Rob Jamaica, we independent. Be stronger together, together we can make it right. Our purpose is a better Jamaica for you and I. We're gonna be stronger together. Come, we all just unify.
Hello, everyone. Good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I am Chase Neal, the Vice President for Middlesex County for the United Independence Congress, and also the Deputy General Secretary. With me tonight, hopefully she'll be on soon. Well, she will be on soon, is our Deputy Treasurer and our Administrative Assistant, Naika Williams. Now, we asked a question why it is so hard for the UIC and other third-party political parties to get a bank account in Jamaica. Now, tonight, we'll be looking at the latest developments in our attempts to get a bank account, and we will be discussing why the process is so difficult for the third parties, and also why it is necessary for us, for we the people, to fund and build our own political movement to create our own constitution and governance model that protects our best interests and ensures accountability, equal rights, equal opportunities, and equal justice. All right, so Naika is on screen with me. Before we move on, we'd like to big up some persons who have joined us early. We see Juliet Chambers. No, Juliet Chambers says, we the people need to see you guys more. One Jamaica, one UIC. I do agree, Juliet Chambers. Jamaica needs to see us more. But guess what? Moving around in Jamaica is expensive. Expensive. Bad.
Especially coming tomorrow.
I yes. I went to Orocabessa, which is fairly near to where I am, to speak to a youth group, and it cost me almost $10,000 out of my pocket. Many persons, well, not I should not say many, the majority of persons in the UIC are from modest means. Well, I should say all of us don't. So for us to move on your behalf, we do need your support, your financial support. Everybody working together, one cocoa full basket. Oh, I see that Mr. Patterson gave some dimension there. We need financial support, Juliet. Welcome, Desmond, Mary, big up family. All right, Paula Shelley, good night. Welcome, JMH, welcome. Somebody, oh, there's another host. There you can have competition. Welcome, host. Welcome, Craig McKenzie. All right, Carol Spence. Now, we recently released a letter to the members, donors, and supporters. Read the state of the bank account, the process in getting that account. So I'll be reading from that to really bring everybody up to speed, especially for those who are watching who had not seen it. Now, since our last comprehensive update given on UIC Liberty TV concerning our application for a commercial bank account in the name of the UIC, we have been in constant dialogue with NCB, which promised an account by September 26th. The NEC had appointed Mr. Winston Wright, Miss Naika Williams, and myself, Chase Neal, as bank signing officers. We attended the NCB branch on September 26 to complete the opening of the bank account, but were informed that the account would be opened on Monday, October 2 instead. On that day, however, the staff at NCB asked us to grant them another extension until Friday, October the 6th, because they had some internal challenges. Unfortunately, the account was still not ready on that day either. On Monday, October 9, NCB called and asked us to give them until this Friday, October 13, 2023, and so we wait. All right. So the rest, the letter said that we are going to have a live broadcast, which is where we are now, for a more complete update on the bank account. Now, please note that our founder, Mr. Joseph L. Patterson and Mrs. Charlotte Mesado Patterson, have since taken back the donated accounts they had so graciously loaned to us. All UIC funds are now in our National PC Bank account, and a full accounting was done as usual and reported to the National Executive Council, that's the NEC, by the Treasurer and Deputy Treasurer. Until we get a commercial account in the name of the UIC, the primary way to now donate to the movement is to walk into a National PC Bank branch and donate over the counter. Unfortunately, the National PC Bank, which is a small cooperative, does not currently facilitate online or wire transactions. And there was a flyer attached that gave the list of the branches island-wide. All right, so that's the letter. That summarizes where we are with the bank account, but we'll give some more in-depth day-by-day descriptions of what went on. But before we go there, um, Miss Williams, in your estimation, or what do you think about the process so far in getting the account?
Chase, for me, every time I think about this process in getting the bank account, something keeps flashing back in my head when, you have a lot of persons saying, oh, it's easy to get an account. Why don't you already have one and so forth? Going through this process, Chase, it it
Mhm.
it's not as easy. It's easier said than done. I can tell you that. And it takes so long to open. It's like every second is another run around, and pretty much they're the ones handling it, so we can't really do much. If we could open it ourselves, we would have done that. But yeah, it's just a lengthy process.
Great. I see Mr. Patterson asking a question there that will add some context to what we said, but what we're saying. By the way, everyone, if you have not yet seen it, our last comprehensive update on the bank account was given on July 19th. You can check UIC Liberty TV, type opening a bank account in Jamaica in UIC Liberty TV, and you will see that update um, explain the heartache and all the challenges that we would have had up to July 19. Now, since July 19, we have been in contact with the bank. We could get no date. We were told in August that the account was approved, but we could get no date to go in branch and sign until September 26th. So between that date in August to September 26th, we were there waiting until that day to get in. There was no other available date according to the bank. Now, how long did it take us to get this date? It has been years. I've been in the UIC since August 2021 as a member and as a as an executive member since November of 2021, and we have been trying to get a bank account since. Where I became involved directly within the role of General Secretary in May 2022, and it has been hell, man. From that date to now, when I've been directly involved in trying to get the account, and we'll be speaking about that. The banks first don't know how to deal with a political party opening a bank account because there are no regulations concerning such. And then in addition, the banks are owned by the same persons who own the political party and the media houses who want to keep controlling our way of life. It is these same people who control the political party and whoever is in government. So really, whether you vote for Bella or Head, you're voting for the PSOJ oligarchs who are controlling the system. These same persons control the heads of the banks. So that also is a challenge. So we have been trying to get a bank account for the longest while, and now we have reached the closest that we have ever gone before. Since we have started making this public, we have started to get closer and closer to that goal. And we hope that soon we will finally get it. Now, there are some questions before we move on to the day by day points of what has been going on since we have gone into the bank on the 26th. But before I do that, let me see what we have here in the chat. Who says don't forget to like, share, and comment? Thank you. I should have mentioned that. Thanks for the reminder. So for those persons who are watching, please like. You know that influences the algorithm. The more people like it, the more YouTube shares this, so more people get to see it. Comment also, that shows activity on the live. So like, comment, and share with your friends and associates, with all your enemy. Make your enemy know, because when the enemy vote UIC, everybody better off. All right, so share, like, comment, share, please. Cool guy asks, so which account does online donations go to now that Mr. Patterson took back their account? We have no facility for online donations now. For those who missed it in the letter, we now accept donations only, well, I shouldn't say it that way. It is now possible only to donate via the PC bank, and you have to go in branch since there are no online transactions or wire transactions being allowed. There isn't the facility for that in the PC bank currently, because it's really a small agricultural farmers cooperative and small business cooperative, so they don't have those facilities. So online transfers are not possible at the moment. You have to go in branch to a PC bank. To those who run the system, will not no one answer. Let me see. To those who run the system, will not know. They don't want anyone to amend the system to benefit the people. UIC getting a commercial bank account will be lending towards amending the system in favor of the people. Right, Hassan Blake makes a point there. Those who run the system do not want UIC to amend the system. They don't want we to amend the system. And we means me and you, everybody who really buy into the UIC philosophy and objectives. All right, Miss Williams, I shall leave the reading of the questions and the highlighting of them on screen for you. To you.
Sure. There's a question here from Mr. Joseph Patterson saying, would you say withholding a bank account makes it difficult to raise funds and open up the leadership to accusations of financial impropriety?
All right. So I was going to come to that after looking at, but let us take that now. Well, the answer to that is a definite yes. But to explain further, now the UIC is funded by the people. This is the people's movement. We are not funded by those big money capitalist oligarchs who want to control the system, the PSOJ and the external colonial powers, unlike the two existing colonial parties, the big two, which is the big one, two sides of one coin. Now, if the people cannot donate to and fund their movement, then the movement can go further. Earlier on, we had someone saying that they need to see us on the road. Now, if we don't get funding, we can't go on the road. If we don't get funding, we cannot keep the lights on. We can't even pay to have these lives. Now, if we don't have the bank account, UIC doesn't get funded, and then UIC gets weakened. Now, also, if they don't give us a bank account, what choice do we have but to use somebody else's account? Now, when we are forced to do that, then it's easy to make allegations. Now, the founder, Joseph L. Patterson, had donated his account. He and his wife donated their accounts because of the blockade from the banks. No, that was a really a trap set to make it. They block us so that we have to use personal accounts so that they can now say, see, them are thief, them are using personal account and thief people their money. Oh, you're saying something, Miss Williams? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to that. That even with those, rumors out there, we then get, what would I say, drawn into that bundle where the other two parties are to say every party is the same thing. We're blocked from getting an account, but when our leader don't, well, pretty much allows us to use an account, then you're saying, oh, you're stealing money, you're just like the other two, which is not the case. It's not the case, but it puts us in a box.
All right, now that you're saying that, Naika, I think we need to emphasize how we ensure accountability and transparency in our accounting. Could you explain that for our viewers?
Oh, sure. Um, for the accounts, not one person has control over it. So the accounts that we've used has three signing officers attached to it, and at least two have to pretty much authorize the transaction before it can be done.
All right, great. So what happens is that the NEC has to approve at least the NEC has to approve the transaction first of all, and then there
Right.
needs to be at least two signing officers. Now, every transaction that occurs must be approved subsequently by the finance committee. They go through everything and ensure that everything is, and the finance committee includes members who are in the wider party and experts in financing and accounting, who are most of them are in the diaspora, by the way. So you can say it's really a click over here. Um, fixing the books. So these are persons who are members of the UIC, who many of them residing overseas, some in Jamaica. They review the accounts. The NEC reviews the accounts. And then we have an external auditor who has nothing to do with UIC at all. No, not a member, not a supporter. External auditor checks the books after the finance committee checks and ensures everything is in order. Then this, once audited, is sent to the ECJ, that body responsible for registering political parties and carrying on elections. Now, we have said this before, but for the benefit probably of those who may be watching for the first time, the commissioners of the ECJ are the political officers. Should I say that right? They're composed of the members of parliament and senators chosen from the JLP and the PNP. So it is the two parties that manage the ECJ, and they had made it very hard for us to register as a party, and they do not want to see us come to win the confidence of the Jamaican people. So if we slip 1 inch in our finances, as Jamaicans say, dog nyam we supper. So we are even more stringently managed in our finances and our operations than any other party. So just to make that clear, Wade Noble says it's time both the media and the bank free up the UIC. They got nothing to lose. Well, that's a matter of perspective, Sir Noble. To them, they might lose everything because
Yep.
those who control the system give them the spoils, and so they benefit from it. But what you say is true because with UIC, everybody wins. And just to really explain that, if we look at the fact that the budget that was set for Jamaica, do not quote me, was in the tune of 3 billion Jamaican, give or take. But every year we lose close to 1 billion US dollars, at least 700 million per year from way back when another party was in government office to now. So that is in the hundreds of trillions Jamaican dollars. So we are losing more money through political corruption, specifically in the trillions of dollars every year, but we are running the country on mere billions. So if that money were to stay in Jamaica, our hard-earned taxes were supposed to stay in Jamaica and be used for the people, then them are going to win. Even those who are trying to block us from the system, they would win, but they don't see it that way. They're not really looking. Mr. Patterson says we had a PayPal and commercial bank donated and dedicated to the UIC, but we allowed a few persons to get away with a destructive narrative. Why weren't we more vocal publicly to refute the lies? All right, now the thing is, the thing is, what had happened is that there are persons who joined the UIC with their own agenda. Um, No, recently, for example, there was a member of the executive who we found out was actually an executive member of another political movement while pretending to be a member of the UIC. Now, this person ensured that the person formed close relationship with members of the NEC. They were present in almost every single NEC, UIC event and activity. But what we started to realize that each time this person had a responsibility to carry out, they would disappear. And it started to become a pattern. This person would disappear and operations just fell and other persons had to start picking up the pieces. It started to become a worrying pattern over the years. So, and then we found out that for every big hullabaloo that you might have heard happening in the US where people are leaving, this person was at the center of each and every conflict. And it started to become a trend where we started to question the person. Now, when this person started to realize that we were onto what what was happening, then this person decided to start accusing members of the NEC, particularly the leader, because they found that they could no longer dig their claws in. Now, people looking on the outside would say, but this person was so close to so and so, but not realizing what was going on in the background. So, and then because this person had formed such close relationships with some of us, you know, are your friend, are your linky, but this person had a very um, sinister, disgusting motive in mind. This person was already the head of another political movement, kept it secret and started to try to undermine the UIC until they started to get members of the UIC out and start this narrative. Now, in such a case, it is very here. We have to be very careful in how we speak about it because what we noticed in the first coup attempt, when we tried to clear the air, there are some persons who fell away thinking that this is the same thing going on in the JLP and PNP, this argument back and forth, back and forth. So, what is the fine line between refuting the lies and not appearing to be arguing and destroying the hope of the Jamaican people that we're just another JLP and PNP warring within the other, warring among one another? But the fact is, everyone, this is not the aim of the live, though, but just to share the context that UIC represents a very real threat for some persons. And they will try to destroy it from within. So many times they join, pass the tests, and appear like our friends when they have their agendas. So just to bear that in mind. All right. We Noble says the UIC is ready and waiting to lift Jamaica out of 80 years of reversing man-made poverty and economic stagnation. True. No. When we say the UIC is ready and waiting to lift Jamaica out of 80 years of stagnation and so forth, I want to make it clear to our viewers that when we say UIC, we don't mean the NEC. We don't mean we up here. We don't mean the candidates. We don't mean the persons you see from time to time on the road doing the campaigns and so forth. We mean all of us who believe in the philosophy, who have accepted the vision, the mission, who know the 10-point plan and our vision for Jamaica, all of that. It is we, the people now, who will lift the UIC to governance and who will lift Jamaica out of the stagnation and so forth. Because if we don't do it, I mean, every single one of you looking upon me, also, including myself, if we don't do it, it will not and will never get done. I can't do it. Naika Williams can't do it. Our founder, Mr. Patterson, can't do it if you don't do it. You don't see the UIC in your community, then what are you doing to get the UIC in your community? Because Chase Neal, a security work middle people, and teaching online, those are two jobs, but they don't pay a lot of money. So Chase Neal cannot possibly be in your communities unless you help Chase Neal in your space to be in your community. We do not benefit from the big money and the trillions of dollars like the two colonial parties. So it is our movement, and we must work to get it where it needs to be. Now, we are the most transparent party. We are the most transparent political movement because of not only do we reveal our finances, which no other political party does, to our members, there have been times when we have the lives on YouTube for you to view. So you can type in UIC Liberty TV financial update. We haven't done any in a while, and I do hope, Madam Deputy Treasurer,
We get back on it.
that we
Yes,
start doing that again,
absolutely.
so people can understand really what it takes to run a political party. And you will see, we are glad for your donations. Without it, we could not be here talking right now, but we have a lot more to do. We need more money, and not for ourselves, mind you, but for you, because you need the UIC to work for you. And we donate. I can tell you right now that our founder has donated so much and doesn't get a cent. He doesn't get a cent from the party, and donates. He and Mrs. Patterson have donated so much, jeopardizing their finances. No, how many people do you know going to jeopardize their finances for other people who don't even? This might sound harsh, and this is not for everybody, but the majority of us do not appreciate what the UIC is giving us. And here is somebody who is jeopardizing his finances and his family's finances for the Jamaican people.
Life in
Um, no, I must salute you, Mr. Patterson, but I will not go to that extent. My family will kill me, but we do what we can. And we thank your family for being so supportive. Mine would have my head on the gallows if I do some of what you have done. But people, the point is that if more of us are giving, then less of us need to be killing ourselves financially. And if more of us are giving, what you know, the UIC membership fee is $1,000 Jamaican per month. That equals to $250 per week. If you break that down in a 5-day week, that means $50, 50 Jamaican dollars a day for 5 days will give you $250 for the week. You keep on doing that, and by the end of the month, you have $1,000. If each of us who watching right now can give $1,000 for the UIC, well, right now you have to walk to a PC bank and give that. That may not be very convenient to you, but once we get the NCB bank, yes, fingers crossed, pray, then which will make it more efficient for us to donate. Then once each of us is given our $1,000, then the UIC will be empowered. And by UIC, mind you, I don't mean us in the NEC, but all supporters and volunteers on the ground will be empowered to spread this news of the UIC across Jamaica because the media blocking us. Um, Stating briefly this and till I go back on track. We have sent out so many press releases to the media, and none of them choose to feature us until the president resigned from public office. You see how the media stay. All right, now we're going to go through. I see some pertinent comments and questions here. I'm going to address some of them, and then we move on to the day-to-day breakdown of what was going on with the bank. We gave a summary in the letter, and Naika and I shared our views. But I want to look at the day to day since the 26th for you to see just how trying and challenging it has been. Um, Mr. Patterson that asked, when will we see weekly financial updates again? I am sure everyone wants to know how much donation we collect and what we are spending on. All right, I ask that the finance committee gets that done so that Jamaicans can really see what is going on and can have more confidence. So I, I know that everybody in the finance committee is have their personal commitments and work commitments, and it's hard to get people to meet sometimes. Only one person gets a very meager salary. Can we call it a salary? And that's our deputy secretary. And she will be more empowered if we all donate more. By the way, but
correction,
yeah, yes,
deputy
she will be more
treasurer.
empowered to be more efficient for us because she has to make ends meet too. Not telling you how much you're getting. That is for the financial updates. But the fact of the matter is, we know that there are hardships in meeting, but it is necessary to get this done. We do need the financial updates so that Jamaican people and those in the diaspora who may not be Jamaicans by birth but are interested in Jamaica can be empowered with confidence to donate, knowing that it's going to a good cause. And unlike what those persons who want to take us down say, we're not thieving their money. All right. Mr. Patterson makes an important note here. The two colonial parties get over $350 million just at elections alone from the PSOJ. How much do we get each year from our donors? Madam Deputy Secretary, do you have a figure in your head?
Sure. Well, last year for the entire year, we would have collected a little over 5 million for the entire year. So that's for 2022. So hopefully with your help we can top that for this year.
All right, thanks. No, my review of Vlog TV, Mr. Patterson gets so much backlash from members and outsiders, but the Lord keep him stable on a firm ground. All right, this is not necessarily true, you know. It appears to be so. No, the majority of the UIC is with Mr. Patterson, but there are few persons. I was going to say were, but we don't know anybody's heart. But there have been a few persons who do not want to be held accountable for their actions. And there are some persons who join the UIC from the outset with an agenda. Now, when these persons lash out and do not honor the terms of their contract, that is the non-disclosure agreement, and they tell lies and so forth. It appears on the outside that UIC is in shambles, but as you can see, UIC is still here, and the members keep supporting Mr. Patterson because he cannot be president. Well, he has resigned now, but what has been happening over the years is that Mr. Patterson has been elected without challenge, even when he asks for it to be president. Um, and nobody has tried to remove him except some persons who actually have their own agenda and refuse to be held accountable. For example, we have no what you see as members or supporters when we are forced to remove a member from any executive position. What you don't see is the number of letters that we have written to them and the number of meetings and interventions that we have had with them, because we would not put anybody in a bad light to the public. And really, we have a non-disclosure agreement. You can share people's personal business like that. But whenever somebody, for example, we have had a candidate who um, is who was making constituents uncomfortable. We have complaints coming in on the ground from about this person. This person did not want to conform to any organizational policies or anything. Felt like NEC can tell him nothing and all of that. Would go rogue and hold meetings without approval from supervisors at that level and so forth. And no amount of meetings and talks with him could have it wasn't having any effect. So we eventually had to let that candidate go. Now, what this seemed to others is that we're unfair, but we would not be in a position to reveal certain information. So, but this is very rare. But when it happens, it seems in the public that people are against the president or UIC is fighting against itself. That is not true. That is not the case. And then in an effort to preserve the operations with a few people at the helm, we don't have time to answer each and everything because the events must go on. And if we take time out to answer every person who tries to create a problem out there, then UIC will be paralyzed because the administrators can, with the few persons that we have who are available daily to try to get this organization, keep it running for you. We don't really have the time to, especially since we're volunteering and not getting paid and we have our jobs to do, but we don't have the time to always focus on the PR, especially with a PR team that is not fully engaged because, again, volunteerism and life challenges and so forth. And then we also have to look at the image of the UIC. How much will this harm or help us? We have answered before, and then we've been accused of infighting. So this is it. So really, when you see things like this happening, it's people with their agendas or people who decide that they cannot work with others and conform to the rules of the organization. They lash out. We say, all right, fine, we can keep you, and they go outside and create their mischief.
And to add to that, Chase, based on the backlash that Mr. Patterson would have gotten during that time, it may seem as if the decision to let those people go would have been single-handedly, decided by Mr. Patterson, really. But it's a team effort. It's an NEC body. Everybody in the NEC that pretty much voted to say, okay, this person is not acting, or conducting themselves in a right manner. So we have to let that person go. So it's not just Mr. Patterson who gets up and say, okay, this person has to go and everybody has to agree. That's not the case.
All right, great. Thank you for that explanation. Silver Cat says, Mr. Neil, I believe you and everyone needs to have those financial statements. We do. Um, at every, well, at least once a month, the financial statements are presented at NEC level and also at members' meeting. It's presented to the members and also at our annual members congress. So we do have the financial statements. What we were speaking to is making the statements available to the wider Jamaican audience on a live such as this. Now, let me break for a while from the comments. Earlier, I had spoken to the the process in getting the bank account. We had said that since our live on July 19, we have not had any clear and available date. The bank gave us the earliest date of September 26th to come in and complete the opening of the account. On that day when we went in, they had promised us that the account would have been open on October the 2nd, right, Naika?
Right.
All right. But on that day, the second, they still weren't ready for us. They had asked us to grant them until Friday, October 6th. They said they had some challenges. Now, on Friday, October 6th, I had called the bank because they had asked us to give us until then, but I received no answer. I could not go in branch because on that day, Naika and I had gone to Santa Cruz um, to attach our signatures to the PC bank because since then, by then, the Pattersons had taken back their Scotia account and other accounts and had transferred all the UIC funds to the PC bank account. And we know from the NEC, the three signatories, me, myself, and Winston, what am I saying? Me, Naika, and Winston were supposed to go in and attach our signatures. So on
Um,
Friday, that was going on. So we were in Santa Cruz. But,
just
yes, Naika.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say something for a bit of clarity. We added our signatures, but we must also point out to the wider public that the Pattersons had removed. They were removed from it.
Yes. Thanks for making that important point. So on Friday, October 6th, calls to the bank went unanswered. Now, on Monday, October 9th, while I was on my way to the bank to find out what was going on, they called me. No, they told me that they said that they did not see Miss Williams' documents. I told them that they were submitted, identified. The community, the rep, the customer rep who had taken the documents from us, and he did admit that he had taken the documents, but they could not find them. So on the 9th, they called Miss Williams and asked her to send her documents by email. And they also realized on the 9th that they had asked um, Winston Wright to sign in the wrong place on one of the forms. So on that day, they had to scan to him and have him sign in the correct place and send them. When we asked on Monday the 9th when the account would be opened, we were told that it would be opened by today, Friday, October 13th. Now, the bank called us on Tuesday asking for some more information. That's Tuesday, October 10. No, when I went into branch today, I was told that they're off to a unit that deals with opening accounts to be opened. So we will see where that is. I was not given a definite date on when we could know for certainty that the account was open. So you see the challenges that we have been having with getting the account. Again, for those who had not seen the previous update, you can go to YouTube, type in UIC Liberty TV, opening a bank account in Jamaica. Opening a bank account in Jamaica, UIC Liberty TV. That live was aired on July 19, and you can see our changes up to that point. And this is where we are now. So
There's
we go, yes, Naika.
Sorry, I was going to say there's a question from Raw and Spicy Jamaican asking who removed the Pattersons, if it was the bank manager, who removed them from the account. No, the bank manager didn't remove them. They actually took their signatures off it. Because truth be told, if you had to, deal with what the Pattersons have dealt with since, UIC pretty much came in effect, you would have probably given up a year or maybe a few months after it started. Like from the outside, it looks like, okay, you're the head of the organization, whatever. But if you had to seriously look into what they have dealt with over the years, you wouldn't have been here. So I have to take my hats off to Mr. and Mrs. Patterson for everything that they've put up with and to, still stick around to keep the UIC going.
Uh, Mr. Patterson has made a point that I think we need to appreciate. He says our three sending officers have to leave work and travel from three different parishes to set up bank account. This is very costly in time and money. So every delay is a big challenge. Now, for the NCB Bank in St. Mary, Naika had to leave from Manchester, and Winston had to leave from Westmoreland, and he had a problem leaving his job. In fact, he was not cleared to leave, and he put himself in jeopardy to open a account for us. Hats off to you, Winston. In fact, Winston, don't hate me. He said if he loses his job, we have to take care of his children. No, this is what we have to go through. Um, People. Now, for the account, the PC bank account in Santa Cruz, I had to lose a day of work, which I had to. I had to do the time that I lost to go to Santa Cruz. And Winston could not go in on that day. He would have tried to get in another day in another week because of the challenges. So and it cost a lot of money. In fact, it cost me almost $10,000 to reach down there. Um, so you see the cost in time and money to do this. No, unless we have the commercial bank, this will not get any easier unless we have the commercial bank account. Now, there are persons who are trying to make the UIC seem like a con affair. And because of this reason, we need to really get the financial updates going. Again, Deputy Treasurer Williams, to let people see what really is going on, and the updates that are given are those that would have been overseen by the finance committee, and some would have been seen also by the auditor, external auditor. So you know that really what we're presenting to you is what was already fact checked and dig through and ensure everything is right. So we need to present that so that people see what is really going on. Now, there are persons who don't want to see the UIC come into government office because that means so their agenda and their thing and their funding cut, at least in their eyes. This former executive member who is the head of a political movement who, in my opinion, is trying to destroy Jamaica because of their policies. What I won't cry on anybody thing right now, or in anybody parade. This person has been trying to encourage people to not donate to the UIC, and there are some persons who have followed this person's lead. But if you do not donate to the UIC, how will the UIC do its job for all of us? I'm in this not for me, but for my future and the future Jamaica. But how can that be done if we don't donate? I am donating. Naika is donating. We are all donating not just our time, but Naika could be elsewhere doing something else as a young lady. But I don't know how you do it anyway. But Naika lives UIC. So we donate not only our time, but practically ourselves and our treasure. No, we're not asking you to do that. But we are asking you as much as possible to share the word so that others may see, and as much as you can to donate a little bit of your treasure. Now, a point was made earlier in the chat that if 1,000 people, how many people in Jamaica? I think it was roughly three was it 3 billion persons? Um,
2.7.
I don't remember the exact, but if just 1,000 of our people, whether here in Jamaica or overseas, can donate $25, that's US. That's roughly 3,000 Jamaican dollars. If we have that, then the UIC can reach that funding level that's provided by the corporate PSOJ thief, and I calling them thief because them thief our liberty. Them thief with liberty. And if you have been following UIC Liberty TV for a while, you will see how they have been controlling the parties and stealing our options and stealing our right to own ourselves. So thief. So these PSOJ oligarch thief them, they've been funding at least $350 million, and that's just at election time to these two parties. Now, if 1,000 of us can give that 25 US, if we can get smart, if we do it, if we can do it, smart in our circle and say, yo, you need to forgive to this in the car, so I feel with it. If we can get them, if we can get 1,000 persons to do that, then you know that UIC, our
Monthly.
governance model, our policies will be able to work for the benefit of Jamaican people. And then we know that those persons, the crime will be addressed. You see how Jamaica going on bad right now. We people are killing 8-year-olds, people are killing babies. The moral fiber of the country through our education plan, our 10-point plan. Check them out on uicjamaica.com if you're not familiar. Will go, all of these will work together to create the strong moral fiber in our people. So we have less people like Alice, no hate toward you, but that near right. And if for people to find that such things to be normal and okay, really shows that we as a Jamaican society something wrong with it. But we leave that alone for now. But the moral fiber of our country will be strengthened. The capacity of our people to invent and create solutions for the Jamaican people will be strengthened if we bring the UIC policies into governance. I'm not saying if you bring me or Naika or anybody, if you vote for me, because it really is not about me, it's not about voting for Mr. Patterson or voting for any other person you see talking to you from time to time. It's really about voting in those persons who will work with you to bring in a system of governance that works for the Jamaican people. All right, so somebody's asking about the fundraiser. The fundraiser was postponed. You will hear more on that in the future. Mr. Patterson says 1,000 persons paying 25 US equivalent is all it takes for us to get all the basics done well. All right. he is correcting me here. That is no match to the says we need a Singapore kind of Jamaica. All right, I see a note here. Are we still hearing me? I think I was reconnecting. Am I still
Loud and
heard?
we can hear you
All
now,
right.
Tate.
If we do not fund our party, it will die. We are dead if you don't give money. It will die, and the two colonial parties will continue to be blind. They have tricked us for 80 years now to our detriment as a people. No, we had said earlier that if we don't get funding, we're going to die. And the system is designed in such a way to prevent any organization that wants to free the people and free Jamaica from really succeeding. So those who own the parties and the media do not want to see a UIC kind of government because they feel that their way of life is threatened. But also, um, I heard from someone that one of the two colonial parties does not have a bank account. I don't know if this is true or not, and that donations go to members and officers to fund the party. I did not know if that was true or not, but I started doing some Google research as to funding for political parties, and I found some interesting information. Now, there is this study that was done um, in 2002, and then there was a, what do you call a study done on a study update? There was another study done in 2005 on that original study that there there's a difficulty in defining political parties. The name of the document is From Grassroots to the Airwaves, Paying for Political Parties and Campaigns in the Caribbean. Now, the document states that political parties in Caribbean countries are not legal entities and have not been defined in any of the Caribbean countries as an entity. No, no, when I was approaching the banks for an account, I found that with Scotia, for example, and Sagicor, even with NCB, they could not wrap their minds up around how to get an account for a political party because it's not a business, it's not an association, and so forth. So there is no legal definition of a political party, and this makes it hard for banks to know how to address political parties. For those persons who are inclined to want to read this, you can check out the study From Grassroots to the Airwaves, Paying for Political Parties and Campaigns in the Caribbean. And this was done by the Organization of American States, OAS. And it explains that. But if political parties don't have a legal definition and they don't really exist in the there's no business world definition and there's no legal definition for them, then it is hard for corporate entities like banks to know how to deal with them. So we have the oligarchs who don't want us to prosper. We have people who join for their own selfish reasons and people who don't want to comply with the organization rules. So it seemed to be an internal problem. So that's a challenge also. Then we have the fact that a political party does not have a legal definition. And so corporate entities don't know how to deal with political parties, which has implications on the on parties getting bank accounts. We had a live with a guest from the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party and the Jamaica's Patriotic Movement some time ago, and he also stated that those two parties have problems with getting bank accounts, and this is one reason, apart from the fight that we're getting from the colonial entities. Now, this has been Chase Neal and Naika Williams giving you the update on how far we are with the bank account. Um, we we hope and we pray for those of us who are really religiously or spiritually inclined, and we keep our fingers crossed that we get this done and in short order so that we can get um, cracking on your behalf. All right, so as the Black Panther saying, I would like to sponsor 7 people, 3 older, 3 middle-aged, 1 youth. You can pick those people, but it has to be people you don't know. So when would that be available? All right, Black Panther, I'm going to ask you say that you email the UIC with your request so we can explore that more. That's info at uicjamaica.com or myuicjamaica at gmail.com, or you can call the UIC at the numbers on the screen. That's 876-293-0812 or 876-471-6598. You can call or contact us by WhatsApp at those numbers or by the email that you have there, so we can talk about that plan on behalf of the Jamaican people. All right. So we will leave you now, and we hope to see you again with good news so that we can really have the finances to go and get Jamaica where it needs to be with your help. With your help. We can't do it without you. All right, people. So see you next time. Until then, remember it's one Jamaica stronger whole together. Take care, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining again.